Ryan Mitchell wiped the sawdust from his hands as he stepped out of the hardware store in Nashville, Tennessee, carrying a cart filled with lumber, screws, and paint supplies. The late afternoon sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the crowded parking lot. After spending nearly 10 hours remodeling a small family home, every muscle in his body ached. Still, there was no room for complaints. Since losing his wife 4 years earlier, Ryan had become both father and mother to his 8-year-old daughter. Emma, every project he accepted, every extra hour he worked, was another step toward giving her the stable childhood she deserved. His old pickup truck had over 200,000 miles on it, but it never failed him. Ryan carefully loaded the supplies he had purchased, mentally calculating the materials he would need to finish his current renovation job. Before Monday morning, he glanced at his phone and smiled when he saw a message from Emma. "Don't forget movie night, Dad." Ryan chuckled to himself. Every Friday evening belonged to the two of them. No matter how busy work became, they ordered pizza, watched an old movie, and laughed together until Emma fell asleep on the couch. Those simple traditions meant more to him than anything money could buy as he reached for another bundle of lumber. A loud thud echoed from the opposite side of the parking lot. Ryan looked over and saw an elderly man struggling beside an older pickup truck. Several long wooden boards had slipped from the shopping cart and scattered across the pavement. The man bent down to lift one, but his hands trembled from the effort, forcing him to stop and catch his breath for a moment. People nearby glanced in his direction before continuing on with their own errands. Some pushed shopping carts past him without slowing down. Others simply looked away. Ryan didn't hesitate, leaving his own truck unfinished. He walked across the parking lot. "Need a hand, sir?" he asked with a friendly smile. The elderly man looked up slightly embarrassed. "I hate asking for help," he admitted. "These boards seemed a lot lighter when I picked them out." Ryan laughed warmly. "They always do." Together, they gathered the scattered lumber and carried it to the pickup truck. Ryan noticed the man trying to hide the pain in his shoulders every time he lifted another board. "Why don't you let me handle the heavy ones?" Ryan suggested. "I appreciate that," the man replied. "My doctor keeps reminding me I'm not 30 anymore. I just haven't convinced myself yet." The two men shared an easy laugh. For the next 20 minutes, Ryan carefully arranged each board in the truck bed, making sure the weight was evenly balanced. He used extra rope from his own toolbox to secure the load properly. "If these shift on the highway, you'll have trouble," Ryan explained. While tightening the final knot, the old man watched with admiration. "You've done this before a few thousand times." Ryan answered once everything was secured. The elderly man extended his hand. "My name is Walter Hayes Ryan Mitchell." Walter shook his hand firmly. "Despite his age, you're a good man, Ryan. Most people today are too busy to notice someone struggling." Ryan shrugged. "My dad always told me that if you have the ability to help someone, you should." Walter smiled thoughtfully. "Your father raised you well." Ryan looked down for a moment. "I hope I'm raising my daughter the same way." Walter's eyes softened. "You're raising a daughter by yourself?" Ryan nodded. "My wife passed away 4 years ago. Since then, it's just been Emma and me." Walter remained quiet for a moment before speaking again. "My daughter has spent years telling me that kind. Dependable men don't exist anymore. After what I saw today, I think she's been looking in the wrong places." Ryan laughed awkwardly. "I was only helping load a truck." Walter smiled knowingly as he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small business card. "Sometimes the smallest acts reveal the biggest character. If you don't mind, I'd like you to come to my family's barbecue next weekend. I'd love for you to meet my daughter." Ryan accepted the card with a polite smile, never imagining that a simple decision to help a stranger in a parking lot would become the first chapter of a completely unexpected new beginning the following Saturday. Ryan looked at the business card Walter had given him several times before finally deciding to accept the invitation. Emma had been excited all week after hearing about the friendly old man from the hardware store, insisting they bake a batch of homemade chocolate chip cookies to bring to the family barbecue. "Dad," Emma said, as they drove through a quiet Nashville neighborhood, "what if they don't like us?" Ryan smiled. "If they're anything like Walter, they'll be wonderful people, and besides, we're only going to enjoy some good food and thank him for his kindness." Walter greeted them warmly the moment they stepped into his backyard. The spacious lawn was filled with family members laughing, children chasing each other through the grass, and the smell of grilled burgers filling the warm afternoon air. "You made it," Walter exclaimed, giving Ryan a firm handshake before kneeling to greet Emma. And you must be the young lady your father never stops talking about. Emma shyly handed him the container of cookies. I helped make these, Walter grinned. Then I already know they'll be the best dessert here. After introducing Ryan to several relatives, Walter looked toward the house. There's someone I'd especially like you to meet. A few moments later, a woman carrying a tray of lemonade stepped onto the patio. She was confident without appearing distant, dressed simply in jeans and a light blue blouse. Her calm smile reflected both warmth and quiet strength. Ryan Walter said, "This is my daughter Claire." Claire smiled politely. "So, you're the man who rescued my father from trying to lift half the lumber department by himself?" Ryan laughed. "He was doing better than he gives himself credit for." Walter chuckled. "That's enough embarrassment for one day." Leaving them to talk, Walter quietly wandered off with Emma, who was already making friends with the other children. Ryan and Claire soon discovered that conversation came naturally. Claire explained that she owned a respected architectural firm specializing in family homes and community projects throughout Tennessee. After losing her husband several years earlier, she had focused almost entirely on raising her 9-year-old son, Ethan. While keeping the business alive, Ryan shared stories about his carpentry work, the challenges of being a single father, and the lessons Emma had unknowingly taught him about resilience. As the afternoon passed, Claire noticed something that impressed her far more than Ryan's construction experience. Whenever Emma needed anything, Ryan stopped whatever conversation he was having to make sure she felt included. Whether helping her carry a drink, introducing her to other children, or simply asking if she was having fun, his attention never drifted far from his daughter. Claire smiled quietly. "My father was right about you." Ryan looked confused about what he said. "You helped him without expecting anything in return. Most people are generous when someone important is watching. You helped because nobody was." Ryan shrugged. "It just felt like the right thing to do." Several weeks passed after the barbecue. Ryan and Claire stayed in touch, occasionally meeting for coffee. While their children played together, Emma and Ethan quickly became close friends. And before long, the two families found themselves spending weekends hiking, visiting local parks, and attending school events together. One afternoon, Claire invited Ryan to her office. "I have a proposal," she said, sliding a folder across her desk. Ryan opened it carefully. Inside was an offer to become director of construction operations for her architectural firm. Claire smiled. "I've watched how you solve problems, how you treat people, and how seriously you take your work. My company needs someone with your experience. But even more importantly, someone with your character." Ryan looked at the salary and flexible work schedule in disbelief. "This would let me spend evenings with Emma." "That was intentional," Claire replied. "No parent should have to choose between providing for their child and being present for them." Months later, Ryan accepted the position, and the partnership between architect and builder flourished. What began as professional respect gradually grew into a deep friendship, and eventually love. Together, Ryan, Claire, Emma, and Ethan built not only beautiful homes for other families, but also a home of their own, one founded on kindness, trust, and the simple decision of a single father who stopped in a parking lot to help an elderly stranger load his truck.